Well, hello and welcome to ILoveGay today. And we are here live at the Connect Thrive Summit in Orlando. And we're actually also going to weave in one of our interviews that we've been doing as a kind of a series, a travel panel series, focused on LGBTQ travel in partnership with IGLTA. And so right now we're here with Rachel Covello from Outcoast, Florida. How are you, Rachel?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
It's worked out perfect. We've been wanting to get together and interview and talk, and then we were able to meet here. And
I appreciate it, what you're doing.
Oh,
I've known you for a while now. It's been a few years.
I know. You're the one who took the photos for our headshots.
Yes, I did. Do you see his headshot?
She's good.
If anyone sees his headshot, hotel lobby photo.
But during this interview, I mean, it's so easy to explore and chat about the ways you're unique in what you do. But a lot of it is like just, here you are really focused on, especially at the beginning, LGBTQ travel from kind of St. Petersburg, Tampa, Florida focus. But how'd you get started with all that?
So I grew up in Maryland, but I lived in Pennsylvania for about a decade. And I had started an LGBT nonprofit up in Pennsylvania. We didn't have a lot of support in the suburbs. It was mostly city support, like most areas. So I did that for about 3 years. It was a lot of passion, a lot of work for little financial reward. But it was probably the thing I'm most proud of with what I've done. When I had started working with another platform up in Pennsylvania, doing kind of like a community LGBT online magazine, and it just wasn't a good fit. We decided to part ways, and at the same time, I had started moving down to Florida, kind of part-time snowbird originally, and then fell in love with St. Petersburg and Florida in general, and decided to move down here full-time and start Outcoast.com. And Outcoast, and it's funny because a lot of people read it and they think Outcast, but it is Outcoast. We are on the coast of Florida. But Outcoast originally started as a way to share the LGBTQ stories of our community. And it was really more local driven. It was St. Pete, Tampa, Gulf Coast. This year, things changed for everybody. And although there were so many horrible things that have happened because of COVID, it actually for me gave me the opportunity to step back, revisit my brand. And so this year we launched a statewide platform for Outcoast that covers all of Florida, all of the really cool LGBT things to do in Florida. And it was really an opportunity for me to get out. I did a 25-day road trip to kind of promote the change and make connections that I would not have made if COVID hadn't happened. So there's always a silver lining, and you have to kind of look at those opportunities. Well,
I look at you as unique in the context that you kind of straddle a variety of worlds. You're a website publisher, you're a journalist, and a photographer. But then also you participate and you're in the world of social media in a way that influencers are. So you're kind of this hybrid out there. And so, just tell us a little about that.
It's interesting because when I come to a conference like this or I do anything and you have to fill out the form, like are you a supplier, a buyer, influencer, whatever, I get very confused because I'm like, I kind of do a little bit of everything. I started in the LGBT space in photography, and what was interesting was I had, when I first moved down to St. Pete and I launched Outcoast, I had reached out, at the time, IGLTA was doing a conference right in St. Petersburg, and I reached out and I said, hey, I want to be media, let me come out, I'll cover the event, I just want to get a media pass and do what I can. And then I think a few weeks later, Loanne had reached out to me and said, our photographer just quit. Do you have any contacts? And don't tell anyone this. I know we're online, but don't tell anyone this. But I had never done a conference before. And I was like, sure, I can do it. So I actually hired someone, and the money that was paid to me to do the work, I actually gave all of it to another photographer. Pulled him in just so I had that backup. But I wanted to learn, and I really wanted to get into conference, and it worked out. I kind of liked the photos I took even better than the guy I subcontracted, but I stuck around and have done so much work and with that group, and it really changed my career path. I went back to Outcoast and I said, I love the travel space. I love the people at these kind of conferences, whether it's Thrive or Connect or IGLTA. And so I said, I'm going to rebrand Outcoast to be more travel. So that's really become more of my full-time focus, is adding content. We wrote over 100 articles this year for the website to launch it. I'm not funded by big money. We're not funded by, government or big corporations. It's a lot of local support and funding, and volunteers stepped up to help write the content just to get it to launch phase. And I was very, very grateful. Visit Lauderdale just jumped on as a big sponsor of our platform.
Yeah.
Naples has been a huge supporter and really trying to change their demographic to be more inclusive to LGBT people. And Michelle, I don't know if you've met Michelle from Naples.
Yes,
She's amazing.
yes.
Love her. And then Richard Gray, of course, from Fort Lauderdale. So it's been quite a journey. So I go more Outcoast, and then a little bit on the side, I do some marketing consulting. And of course, during COVID, I had to get creative with supporting our platform. So I've been doing some marketing consulting for Jody with Wild Rainbow African Safari. She's fabulous as well. And the connection, it's just been fun. It's a fun journey. And
I could see
continue
that.
moving forward with it.
It shows in the passion that you are.
Yeah, I love it. I love everything I do. I was managing an Airbnb for a while. I was doing that kind of stuff. But but I really love, when I did my road trip in July, I hadn't really gone all over Florida. I really was kind of pocketed in the St. Pete, and I love St. Pete. David knows how much I love St. Pete too. I know David's probably watching right now, right? But when I did the road trip, everywhere I went, I was in like Bradenton and Fort Myers and Naples, which has one of my favorite properties, La Playa Resort, was beautiful. I went down to Key Largo, Key West, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Delray, New Smyrna, Melbourne, worked my way around the state, went over to the Panhandle, and then down through Gainesville. And then I recently was in Ocala and Mount Dora, and I love Florida. I love it more than I've ever loved it before, because there's so many different places. If you want a Pennsylvania experience in Florida, go to Mount Dora, Ocala. If you want beaches, go to St. Pete, Clearwater. If you want fun and culture, go to Miami. There's so many cool things to do in Florida. I've become more and more passionate about the state as I travel and explore it. So. And now I want homes everywhere too. I'm I'll live there and there and there.
I noticed that on your Facebook page.
I know, right?
But no, it just seems like you're very well in sync and connected with the times that we're in, and especially when you're focused. You did your road trip, and as we were talking about Visit Florida, the road tripping experience is really it's a great opportunity for destinations and tourism folks across all spectrums to just stay relevant and keep that conversation going. It seems like you're a part of that. Yeah,
and I got a little backlash from some of our LGBT community when I went on the road trip. They're like, shame on you for promoting and stuff. But here's the thing, travel has to continue, especially in Florida. If travel doesn't continue in Florida, we all suffer. Businesses suffer, restaurants suffer, everything suffers. So if you're able to go out and support travel organizations, restaurants in a safe, socially isolated way, why wouldn't you do that? I was on the road for 25 days, stayed healthy the whole time, stayed socially isolated, which honestly after 25 days was a little lonely when I met people along the way a little bit. But and I also learned that in Florida, I love everything about the state. Every town you went to was so different with how they were handled. It's it's not a universal we're doing this to protect everyone. It was, you go to Miami where they were really locking down. I was there July 4th weekend when beaches were closed. And then you go up to through Melbourne and then over to the Panhandle. And, the Panhandle is amazing. The most beautiful blue waters I've ever seen. But they were, the pandemic was different there. It was just we'll put it that way. It was a different experience.
I totally get it.
And the culture, I think, and we talked about this yesterday at the conference, that people see that, Florida is, we just had the election and it leaned red. But you know what? Even in the most red area of Florida, you can find fun, inclusive things to do. There's really so many cool things about this state.
I think that just as long as people know they're going to be treated with respect and not, it goes a long way. And I think that in Florida, wherever I've gone, I've always felt that very, very strongly.
I've been in the most redneck country place. I went to Ocala and it was probably one of my favorite places. And people, they're just kind. We went to this cute little restaurant in Ocala. If you get a chance to go, it's Ivy. Ivy I'm totally blanking on the last part of that, but it's Ivy. Just look up Ivy Ocala.
I'm going to look that up because I'm going to Ocala on Friday.
Yeah, okay, so you go to Ivy. It's great. And they actually have a speakeasy that's hidden behind the restaurant. Okay. We're going to do an article on speakeasy soon. But we were there and we're sitting having a drink at the bar and Guy Fieri is sitting behind us, talking to Joey Fatone. I'm like, this is just the coolest experience.
Was his Camaro outside?
I didn't see outside.
Big bright red Camaro.
No. Ivy on the Square, thank you. It's Ivy on the Square.
Ivy on the Square.
But it was such a cool experience, and I did mention to Guy Fieri that his hair was almost as cool as mine, but and then he gave me like a thumbs up when he left. So
It was something, though.
yeah, I was telling him this as he was walking to the bathroom.
That's
Not
a Hollywood moment.
It was. It was.
No, this is amazing, and I'm really glad you were able to take some time out to share a little bit about what you do with our audience. And
Thank you.
I look forward. I know we'll be connected again here soon, probably if not the IGLTA convention in Atlanta,
Yeah.
hopefully some point along the
And
way.
you've
sooner.
always been, and I have to thank you, you've always been a great partner, even when I was just starting out. I know that we have the Carefree Resorts down in Fort Myers, which if nobody has heard of Carefree Resorts, it's like a big lesbian mecca community. It's
yeah.
like all lesbians, too many lesbians for me personally. We have that a little bit in Gulfport too, where we have we call it the Edie Windsor building in
Yeah.
Gulfport because it's all lesbians. It's called the Windsor building, but we've obviously nicknamed it to Edie Windsor building. But you were awesome in connecting me with the Carefree Resorts to get involved with them being a part of what we were doing too. And their article is still the most popular article on our website.
And that's why we do it. I mean, that's everything we do is trying to work with partners such as you because we can only go so far. It's like when a client wants to tell a story, yeah, we can get it out through social and so many different more traditional channels.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you were local, you were there, and you're able to tell a story from an angle that none of us could duplicate.
Well, and I think it's so important. I think we all try to stay in our own boxes.
Yeah.
Ego gets the best of us. Like, my platform's getting the best, so I'm not going to work with anyone.
Yeah.
But when we work together and we really kind of share business back and forth, like even with Visit Florida, I became a partner of Visit Florida earlier this year because I realized that, when you're Googling things and SEO is fighting with each other, a lot of my content kind of comes up there with Visit Florida. And I'm never going to compete with such an amazing organization that has such a better budget than I do, although tight this year because of all the things that have happened. But we have to work together or we don't get anywhere. So I've always appreciated your friendship and your business support.
For many years to come.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
Thanks again. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it.